Hello, and welcome to this month's Bold Party with Purpose. I am D Antoinette Shine, the founder of Bold, and Bold that stands for Beautiful, Outstanding Ladies of Destiny. And this month is a little bit different because we don't have anyone joining us live currently. So I will get to speak directly to you. And of course, if we do have others join, it would be great to have their input as well. But as of now, it's one-on-one talking to you directly. And in case you don't know, BOLD does stand for Beautiful Outstanding Ladies of Destiny. And the purpose of BOLD is to provide a space where we as women can come and be inspired, be encouraged, be enlightened, and also have a space where we can share and enlighten others and truly build and grow together as the beautiful, outstanding ladies of destiny we are meant to be. And these monthly meetings, we have them once a month, usually the second Saturday of the month. This month, I did have an out-of-town obligation, so we're doing it this third Saturday of the month, which probably is why we don't have anyone joining us live right now. But usually it's the second Saturday of the month. And we have a topic that we focus on. I do provide information, some video, some resources to help us along in gaining greater understanding in the topic. And we usually do have discussion and talk back to further enrich the process. However, we're just going to flow with this. As I said, I'll be talking directly to you and sharing directly with you. And I would still love to hear from you in the comments, or you can feel free to email us. And if you are interested in joining the live sessions, again, feel free to email us and we will be sure to get you all of the information. And that email is livebold4life. That's the number 4, livebold4life @gmail.com. And I will also be sure to include that in the description box below. So without further delay, we will get into the party for this month. And we are focusing on being financially fit. So today we're going to dive into how we can apply financial wellness and tactics of not only developing, but also maintaining healthy financial habits. So as we do begin each of our parties with purpose, we'll start off with a morning exercise. And today it is the butterfly hug. And I am very interested in this process and implementing it more in my life. In my preparation for this, I got to experience it some, and I really enjoy it. I am absolutely a hugger. I keep biting my cheek. I'm absolutely a hugger. I do feel that there's benefits to hugs, that there's healing in hugs. I've been told I give really good hugs. Sometimes I'm told I give grandma hugs. Either way you put it, I love a strong, genuine, positive embrace. And that's what the butterfly hug exercise is dedicated towards. And it's a way for you to hug yourself, essentially. And so, can't forget the music. And so there are 4 different positions that you can hold with the butterfly hug. All right. So there are 4 positions that you can hold with the butterfly exercise. And that is the butterfly hands, here. And there's spreading them a little bit further across your shoulders. There's hugging your shoulders, which I really like. And then there is placing your hands on your thighs and sitting in an upright, comfortable position. So again, butterfly hands on the chest, across the shoulders, hugging the shoulders, or on the lap. And we will go ahead and start. You can experiment with the different positions, or if you already know which one you want, go ahead and embrace yourself. And we'll start off with a little bit of deep breathing. And you want to start with first either pressing or squeezing yourself to your level of comfort. And we'll just take a few deep breaths in and out. Again, in and out. And as you're taking these breaths, you can close your eyes as I'm doing, or you can focus your attention on one spot in the room. But really try to hone into that spot if you keep your eyes open. And if you're keeping your eyes closed, try to hone in and clear your mind. And as you're breathing, I encourage you to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, breathe in and out. Now, as you continue to breathe, just begin to give yourself some light taps. Continue breathing. And do these taps at your level of comfort. Now, as we breathe, we're going to hold the breath a little bit. Breathing in. Hold. And out. Again, in. And out. And as you're breathing, I also encourage you to flex your back and relax it. Breathe in. And out. Now, as we continue the deep breathing and tapping, repeat these affirmations to yourself. I am love and love. I am loved and loved. I am purposeful. I am purposeful. My life has purpose and meaning. My life has purpose and meaning. I embrace the joys of today. I embrace the joys of today. Now keep breathing for a little bit, tapping and hugging. And if you have have any personal affirmations, go ahead and speak them over yourself. And when you feel comfortable, give yourself one good squeeze. And when you feel comfortable, open your eyes. I hope that you enjoyed that and that you felt it calming and it helped you get present in the moment. And I encourage you to keep trying that exercise. All right. So then moving into our topic for today of being financially fit, I thought that we could go about it as if we were looking to exercise and be fit physically, right? There are steps that you can take to truly develop a habit and a pattern and a positive way of exercising that fits you and that is beneficial to you and your body as you move forward in your day and your life. And the first part that I believe is essential for developing, creating, or maintaining any habits is a proper mindset. So the first section that we're going to talk about is having a proper financial mindset of financial wellness, well-being, financial wholeness. I saw it portrayed all three ways, but still speaking in regards to the same topic. And so we're going to start off with a small portion of a video that I found by, not just a video, but a TED Talk. And it was by Jason Vitug. I believe that is how you say it. And he begins the video sharing about his journey to financial wellness. But we're going to go ahead and start off right where he makes his discovery of what financial wellness truly is. Start in the right place here. Okay. All right.
And I realized that the secret to financial wellness and well-being is having a vision for our lives. And that vision can change. And our vision is our hopes, our dreams, our thoughts, and our feelings. It is important when we're talking about money. In addition, we need to clarify our values. And yes, we need a financial plan in order to do so. And I want to close off that in the last country I went to, Indonesia, I found this temple called Borobudur. It was beautiful. At 5 in the morning, I made sure I made this trek to this ancient temple. I went around 12 times because that's what you're supposed to do. I remember standing there, staring out into the mountain range and seeing the morning dew. I was like, wow, I can be here forever. Well, until that silence was disrupted when two other backpackers said, this is the same thing over and over and over again. When are we going to leave? And that's when I realized that we could be hearing or seeing or experiencing the same thing, but how we're perceiving it could be quite drastically different. And so here you are, listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, seeing the slides that are being projected on the screen, and how you're perceiving it could be quite and vastly different from the person sitting next to you. And what I learned that day was that our perception is what matters, and that we can change our perspective. And when it comes to money, we can do so by openly talking and being transparent about our financial situation. Because when we're transparent and open, and we start sharing our financial stories of success and failure, we give hope out to others. And hope is hearing other people's experiences. Our ability to share, our desire to give the information or our experiences out to others empowers individuals because they realize that their situation isn't dire, that there is a solution. And I challenge you today to break the social taboo about money. Free yourself from any shame, guilt, or judgment you've had about your finances. Give hope to others and hope to yourself. And believe that knowledge is power. And financial knowledge is life-changing. Thank you.
So that I felt was a nice introduction into this next video where this lady is sharing her story of how she went from having no financial worries to being broke to reshaping her mindset so that she could once again not have financial worries, but in a way that is sustainable.
I used to be successful, according to society. I had left a well-paid job in marketing to become an entrepreneur. And very soon I could buy anything I wanted. Not anything in the world, anything I wanted, which was a lot still. My impulse purchases included a brand new car and a house. My entire life was just about fun. And I can say I created some amazing memories, but it was just fun. I wanted more. I wanted joy. I wanted to do something that would last, something that mattered. So I started working with students. And this was fantastic. For the first time in my life, people would come up to me and say, "Thank you. You've changed my life." And that was so valuable to me that I would do it for just a little bit of money if they wouldn't pay me enough. I would even do it for free, a lot, until I reached a point where even a small financial setback could ruin me as an entrepreneur. And of course, it did. In the middle of summer of 2016, when all schools are closed and I wouldn't have any income for another 2 months or so, I received 5 envelopes at the same time from the tax services, demanding that I pay for my glory days immediately. This cost me everything I had, all my savings, all the money that I had, and all I had left in an instant was just a few coins that I found between the cushions of the sofa, in my coat pockets, in my car, and €3.97 in the bank. 2 days later, my daughter would come back from staying with her father. She would come back on her birthday, and I couldn't afford to bake her a cake. What I wanted to do was just to crawl into bed and cry, which I don't like, and just hide under the covers until it would all just go away. But I couldn't. I didn't have time because I only had 48 hours to prove to myself that I was better than this, that I was a good mother. So what I did was the most terrifying and most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. I decided to expose myself publicly as a failure. And I thought that the best place to start would be rock bottom. So I gave away my last bit of money. And then I had absolutely nothing. And then the way was up. called it the Money Project. I published a video on Facebook stating that I had failed gloriously as an entrepreneur, that I was totally broke, and that I was determined to change my situation, to learn anything I could about entrepreneurship, business, money, and enhance my financial intelligence, and that I was determined to become free of financial stress within 6 months, and to go from nothing to a fortune, or at least discover what the secret to doing that was, and to become a successful entrepreneur. And I would write a book about it. And this book I would sell right away for 10 euros a copy. And that day I didn't dare look at the responses on my timeline, because this was quite scary. But that first day I sold 64 books, and I had a fortune. Until this day, I've never felt more rich in my entire life, because this meant I could now bake a birthday cake, and she could have a proper birthday, which she did. And then I read, I vlogged, I blogged, I interviewed, I learned anything I could, and I succeeded. Within 6 months, I was free of financial stress, and I could say that I was a successful entrepreneur. And all this time, I had been thinking that this money project, what I called it, was about money, of course, and business. But deep down, it was about something completely different. It was about value and about life. And I will share with you what I learned about life. Lesson number 1. Money is important. Quite a cliche. But I was raised in a way to believe that money is not important. And I inherited this conviction somehow. I can't blame anyone in particular, but somehow that it planted a conviction in my head that people with money are not nice people. So when I had money, I would spend it as soon as I could. And then when I found my purpose working with students, I just didn't ask for it. I didn't care. I just wanted to change the world, which I had no impact on whatsoever with €3.97. And I also learned that money doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you more of who you are. So if you're a jerk with a lot of money, you're probably a jerk when you're broke as well. And if I would have more money, I would simply give more. But if I have to worry about money every day, all day, I can't even take care of myself, and I have nothing to give. Lesson number 2. Money equals time. As soon as we start working, we start exchanging time for money, which is a problem, because we can always make more money, but we can never make more time. And I started to exchange my time for far too little money. I could barely survive. And at the end of the month, there was nothing ever left to invest in my future. So I would have to spend all my time to make just a little bit of money. And I would probably have to do that for the rest of my life, because there was nothing left. And for the rest of my life, I would have given away the one thing that means the very most to me, which is time. Time with my loved ones and time for myself. So I decided that it was time that I value my time. I would spend it more consciously, and when it comes to work, I would have to exchange it for more money so I could spend less time working and more time actually living. Lesson number 3, money equals value. It took me 2 years to discover that the money project is not about money. It's about value. And I've always seen myself as a confident person, but I didn't value myself. Because the way you treat yourself is a reflection of the way you see yourself. And I've been treating myself like crap, which I found a terrible example to set for my daughter. So changing my rates was not enough. I had to change the way I see myself. I had to start seeing myself as a person of value. And that was not easily done. It's a process, and I'm still working on it. So I still, on a regular basis, I still have to remind myself, it's okay, you're worth every penny. And even now, I find it hard to say this out loud. I get a bit embarrassed, so I'm still learning. I have to keep practicing. Lesson number 4. What people say doesn't matter. You're a cheap whore. You're a fraud. How can you do this to your child? Just a few of the comments that I received. The hateful ones were on my timeline on Facebook, but the quiet ones, they hid safely in my inbox, confessing only to me that they had screwed up too, that they too had found their purpose and wanted to change the world and worked really hard, 80 hours a week, just like me, and barely surviving. But no one could know, so they didn't go public because they were too ashamed to be a failure. But they were very glad that I went public and exposed myself as a failure, because now they could learn from my mistakes. And I was thankful that I could help them. And I was also thankful for the haters, whether it was the strangers on my timeline or even some of my own friends talking about me behind my back, because they taught me that nothing is ever personal, not really. What people say about you and what people think about you, it comes from their view of the world. It's from their opinions and their values and their experiences, and maybe they're having a bad day or they're very insecure or unhappy. It has nothing to do with you. And the way other people treat you is not a reflection of who you are, it's a reflection of who they are. So now when someone says something hurtful to me, it still hurts, but not as much, because I know it probably has nothing to do with me. That's number 5. What people say matters. What people say matters most when people is you. Because the person with the most opinions about you, the person who talks to you the most, is you. And you tend to believe yourself, right? So be kind. A few days into the project, I asked my daughter, how do our money worries make you feel? And she said, we don't have money worries. We just have less money than most people. And then I realized that until that moment, I had been saying to myself on a regular basis, you're such a failure. And then I realized, because of my daughter, that that kind of thinking was not going to do my circumstances any good. And that's what they are, circumstances. They don't define you. The response to them does. And my response was to be kind to myself, to say to myself, you'll be okay. You can do this. And whatever it took, I would do it. That's number 6. It's really simple. I learned so much about business and entrepreneurship and compounding, investing, entrepreneurship, about the scalability, hour rates, sales, low-hanging fruit, runway, value propositions. But to be honest, everything I learned, I could have learned from my grandmother. Because the essence is this: spend less, earn more, invest wisely, and most of all, value yourself. But simple is not always easy. Let me ask you a question. Who makes more money today than you did at your very first job? That's quite a lot of people. Okay. Be ready. There's another question. Be honest. I promise I won't tell anyone, but be honest. Who still, at the end of the month, sometimes is out of money? Or a lot of times, maybe, yeah, that's quite a lot, huh? Okay, you're not alone. And this is why. It's called Parkinson's law. Your expenses will always rise to match your income. This is why most people retire poor, and why lottery winners tend to end up with less money a few years after they won than they had before. And about a year after I started the money project, I was earning a lot of money. I was doing well, but still I didn't really have anything left at the end of the month. And I realized that when it comes to spending, I'm a 12-year-old. So I should treat myself accordingly. So now I hardly have any access to my money. As soon as money comes in, most of it goes straight to accounts that I cannot touch. And I will probably have to do this for the rest of my life, and I don't care. Because if there's one thing that I learned from this project, it's I can't afford to be poor. Lesson number 8, being broke sucks. It does. 2 years ago, my entire life was urgent. Everything was urgent. I had to be a full-time problem solver, which is both exhausting and impossible. It's a catch-22. Because scarcity captures the mind. research shows that when all you can think about, and that was the case for me, when all you can think about is how do I get food on the table tonight? How do I get money today? That takes up all of your thinking space. There's no room left to solve anything for tomorrow or next week or to make a change next year. You're stuck in the situation. And my situation was that my brain felt like a ticking time bomb. I can still today hear the sound of the bills dropping on my doormat, and it still freaks me out. And day and night, I felt this blind panic. I couldn't breathe. There was no way out. I was suffocating. So the first thing and the only thing that I could do was breathe. I freed my mind and I made a decision that I was going to be successful in the direction of my purpose. I found my focus. I stopped sabotaging myself and I became successful. Lesson 9, stay broke. Epictetus said a very long time ago, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The paradox is that the more money you have, the more silence and no Wi-Fi become a luxury. It's ridiculous how much money rich people, money-wise rich people, spend on going somewhere quiet. When I had nothing, all I could afford was to go somewhere quiet, to just sit still, or read a book, or go outside, or go for a run, play with my child. And in those moments, I found my most profound moments of happiness. I learned that my daughter doesn't need any money, or expensive gifts, or fancy trips. All she wants, really, is a few moments a day of my undivided attention. And all I really want is to be present in my own life. So now that I have money, I choose to live as if I'm broke. And without the worries, I can finally say, money is not important.
All right. So between those two videos, for me, I feel like it helped me to develop a different mindset in thinking about finances. Because one, honestly, before I started doing this research, I hadn't really heard, or that I remember, I hadn't heard about financial wellness, financial well-being. I have heard of financial peace and financial freedom. I've heard of those, but those are more so focused on primarily and only the financial aspect. But as I'm understanding it, financial wellness opens it up to your complete wellness and wholeness within self, as well as within the financial element. I'm not sure if you really caught it, but Jason Vitug in his video, he had his quote, "The secret to financial wellness is having a vision for your life, gaining clarity of your values, and financial planning that aligns to what matters most to you." So as they were pressing in these two videos, your financial standing truly is a perspective that you hold, and that perspective is either shifted or created or formed through your values and your interests. So taking time to understand and assess what you value and you interest and that you want and are willing and able to invest your time and energy and then funds into is really important. So I encourage you to take some time to sit with that and really see how that applies in your life. But along with the mental portion, you have to actually get in there and do the work, right? Just like physically, when you want to implement a fitness journey, you do want to have the proper mindset, but then you actually do have to do the work, right? So for that portion, I have here a video by Tiffany, the Budgetnista. And of course, I am utilizing videos because I am not a financial advisor by any means. So I'm definitely leaning on the expertise of these individuals with these videos. So due to technical difficulties, I had to switch platforms, and I unfortunately won't be able to include the remaining couple of videos that I had, but it was about 30 minutes of content, which I will include in the description box below, the links to those actual videos. But as I shared, Tiffany, the Budgetnista, shares a strategy for a budget, or excuse me, for budgeting. And basically, it includes splitting up your pay into 4 bank accounts, 2 savings and 2 checking. One checking for your common everyday expenses, 1 checking for your bills, 1 savings for emergency purposes, and 1 savings for long-term goals. And once you have them established, you then determine how much to put in each one, and then try to use a method to automate those. So if you're an employee, ask your employer to divide your check into these different accounts. Or if they can only divide them into 2, then have 1 go to your checkings, 1 to your savings, and then have your bank distribute those funds automatically. But then also, what if you are an entrepreneur? Then a different type of budgeting may be more beneficial, right? So for that, I would encourage Googling entrepreneurial budgeting and seeing what plans work for you, or utilizing common budgeting tools, but tailoring them to your specific needs. So one that I found interesting and beneficial is the 4-color budgeting technique. And in short, you will use 4 colors, and they each represent different things. So this I found on yourmoneyline.com. And the first color says to highlight your beginning and ending balance, and then evaluate. Did you make more than you spent, or vice versa? This will tell you if you have a shortage or surplus. The second color you use to highlight your deposits. So this is your income and any other notable amounts that you receive, I would say on a regular basis, and you note that total. The third color, you highlight your reoccurring monthly bills, monthly payments, including mortgage, rent, utilities, internet, if you have them, personal or student loans, etc. And then note the total of those reoccurring expenses. And in the fourth color, highlight the most common purchases that you make, and this you would want to categorize, so not just food, but groceries versus dining out, Then also, not just clothes, but like if you purchase a lot of shoes versus other clothing items, you want to notate what you spend the most on. And then you want to total up those things and then take a look and see what you're spending the most on. And in that category, see, if need be, what you can reduce or how much you can reduce that category. And so I have suggested this method or technique to a few different people, and they found it helpful, or at least an interesting starting point. So I'll be sure to share the link to this article in the description box below. Now, along with budgeting, it's great. It can be helpful if you have the discipline to implement it, right? And to stick to it. So an additional, or a couple additional resources that I will link below are to a video on building your financial self-control and also developing good money habits. Because a goal will take actionable steps, actual and actionable steps. So ones that are not only ideal, but that you truly can see yourself taking, and also giving yourself the steps to help you to actually make those actions happen. And then as you do those things over time, some say 30 days, some say 90, as long as you keep it up over a set amount of time, it can become a habit. And one thing that I love about the video that I'll be sharing about habits is she connected a goal step to a habit that she already has. So I think she said something about checking her budget or checking something within her financial realm as she was doing a morning routine, like brushing her teeth. So connecting a habit that you want to develop with a habit you already have can help in making that habit actually habitual, you know? So our habits can be habiting, our goals can be golden, all right? But anyways, those are the additional steps that I have for properly taking action with your financial goals, your financial fitness, and making them habits to help us in maintaining them. Now, along with making them habits and maintaining them, you do also want to revisit them, because especially when you have life changes, just like insurance, when you have significant life changes, you want to revisit it. You want to do the same with your finances overall. So if you get new money coming in, if your financial state changes and you have less money coming in, when you have a big purchase that you want to make that you haven't already accounted for within your financial plan, these sorts of things. You have a new child or new family member living with you. These sorts of big events that can affect your financial standing, you want to reevaluate where you stand and your possibly new goals, or how you need to adjust so that you are still on track for meeting your current goals. So that is everything that I wanted to share. Of course, I've somewhat condensed it with these technical difficulties, but hopefully these steps can help you, and this information can assist you in developing your healthy financial mindset for financial wellness and well-being, for developing some financial goals for yourself and your plans, and plans to help you get there, and then also having healthy financial habits and self-control so that you can reach your goals maintain your habits, and develop or maintain a healthy financial fitness. So, if no one has told you today, I love you. Most importantly, God loves you and He wants the best for you, including your finances. So please do take some time to review this video, review the links below and the resources, and comment below if you have any suggestions yourself or any questions. I would love to keep this conversation going. And know that you are in my prayers, you're in my heart, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.